the long head's going to get the most work because it has two functions. It not only extends the elbow, like all three of them do, but it actually, it's called adduction, ADD. It pulls the arm in. What are you doing when you put that tendon to? Look what's happening, right? So you're getting two actions from that one, so that's going to get hit the most, okay? And then it also has explosive, a mix of explosive, the fast twitch and slow twitch fibers. The lateral is going to get hit very hard as well because that has the most fast twitch fibers. And this is, again, it's explosive movement. We use fast twitch fibers for explosive movements. And so, another thing I noticed is when we're doing single arm, okay, whether it's single arm tendon 2, I think it was, I noticed it during single arm tendon 2s, but I think you'll notice it as well for 360s. So I'll mention two more quick things about the muscles. When you're doing a single arm, you're going to rotate in more. So it's called internal rotation of the shoulder. It's just something you have to do to stabilize because you don't have the other hand, right? So you got to make sure this thing doesn't go flip out either way as you're coming around, okay? So what you will notice is there's going to be more rotation. Well, that deactivates somewhat the long head, which means that lateral head picks up the slack. So you're going to see if you do a lot of singles at a fairly heavy weight, that next day you're going to feel it. I'm telling you, if you do these heavy weights, you'll feel it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? When I do single arm 360s, now what wants to happen, because you're supposed to come, to your vertical position, okay? So it's not, you can use the triceps as well, but there's muscles in your back, okay? They're across your back here, okay? They're called your rhomboid muscles. And everybody thinks the trapezius is this. That is correct. This is the trapezius, but the trapezius goes from your skull down there to the big bumps that everybody knows, and then goes all the way down to your 12th thoracic vertebrae. Okay? So in the middle, that also keeps the shoulder blades, okay, from flaring out. Okay, and so, it's flaring out, and so the rhomboids do that as well. Okay, there are muscles in between the shoulder blades as well that go to the spine. And so when I come around, what's one of the things you notice in that movement is that weight does not want to stay steady. So what I have to do is I have to lock the shoulder blade down. Those two muscles do that. Do a lot of single arm 360s, you're going to see right across the middle trapezius and muscles deep to that, which you might not know what they are, but those rhomboid muscles that are deep, they're going to be very, very sore. But the great thing about this is when you do these movements, what does it do? You're strengthening those muscles, which means you're stabilizing the shoulder, right? Because the shoulder blade, really all the muscles in the shoulder are attached to the shoulder blade. And so, again, we talked a little bit in the seminar about latissimus, your lats pulling in. So lots of muscles are getting strengthened. If I were going to add another muscle to the muscles that you're using, I would probably say latissimus is another one that gets worked really good on these movements. That's pretty much just kind of some of the key things I want to share with you on that. I have a few more things to talk about. Any questions on the muscle stuff or the torque or any of that stuff? I want to talk about a couple quick clinical things. Okay, tendons don't strengthen as fast as muscles do. Okay, this is a big issue with bodybuilders that use steroids. The problem is that their muscles grow really, really fast, right? But their tendons don't grow as fast because the steroid doesn't affect the tendon. They just don't grow as fast as muscles do. And so, one of the great things about Mace training, besides strengthening shoulders and strengthening wrists, which it will, okay, strengthening core and all the other muscle groups, my favorite thing so far that I've gotten as a side benefit that I never expected was it fixed my elbows. And by fixed my elbows, I had really bad elbows from years of martial arts and heavy lifting and things like that. And I couldn't do skull crushers. I still don't do those anymore, but I couldn't do a lot of triceps exercises anymore. And for kettlebell sport and things like that, it's important for lockout, right? So what I noticed is the Mace training strengthened those tendons. Now think about it, your triceps, that's the tendon going into the posterior elbow, okay? It's those three heads that go into that posterior elbow. And so now there's some forearm, muscles in there as well attached, but it works forearm muscles as well. So what it does, in my opinion, what Mace training does, especially 360s and 10-2s, it bulletproofs your elbows. Now, of course, you have to start slow, right? You don't just pick up the heaviest weight and start going. You build it. First, you work on technique. You build that technique, and then you add the weight, okay? I will say this. High rep training will help, but if you want really strong elbows, you do have to load the muscles. So you do have to lift whatever that heavyweight is for you, that heavyweight might be different than what my heavyweight is, or Rick's heavyweight is going to be probably heavier than all of our heavyweights. But whatever that heavyweight is for you, working with that when you have the proper technique to handle it, that's what's going to strengthen those elbows. So that's just kind of a quick little thing there. There was a big debate on a pummel versus no pummel. Okay. Everybody can have their opinion, and I think that there's benefits to both. But I want to kind of dispel just a couple quick myths out there. So you make your decision based on information, not based on somebody else's opinion. I like the pummel, but I have maces that have no pummel, like this. I have maces that have a pummel. I probably use the pummel maces much more frequently. I just like them. I will say for beginners, people may argue this, but I say for beginners, it is a safety issue. It's like a seatbelt, right? Rick, I don't know if you agree with that. It does keep your hand from sliding off and the mace from going flying out of your hands as you're learning the technique. I think once you have good technique, you can use either mace. But what I will say is this: there were two things that I heard that were completely inaccurate. We have to make sure that we're careful to put this information out there. Two things that I heard were, when you're using, and a pummel is, if you guys know what a pummel is, it's basically that little, little ball at the end or whatever it is, or lip at the end. I heard that, one thing I read was that you can fracture carpal bones. Carpal bones are your wrist bones, okay? What I will tell you is that is practically impossible. Even if you are osteoporotic, which means have weak brittle bones, your wrist bones are not commonly osteoporotic, okay? You use your hands all the time. Okay, there's something called Wolff's Law. It's basically pressure you put on bones makes bones more dense. You use these all the time. Like, even if you are like 70 and you're getting coffee, you're using your hands all the time, right? So carpal bones don't generally get osteoporotic, and even if they did, it's really hard to break them. You usually break a carpal bone when you fall and you land and catch your entire body weight on your wrist. Okay, that's how you commonly fracture a carpal bone. You're not going to fracture it from doing a 10. First of all, these movements are not impact movements, right? You guys did 10 and 2s today. We did 360s. There was no impact. Okay, so if there's no impact, then where's the force coming? Is going to cause the fracture. It's not going to fracture. It's just a fact. It's not going to happen. Okay. So that's one thing we have to say. Okay, if you're evaluating whether you want a pummel or not, don't worry about fractures. I wouldn't. The other thing is nerve impingement. Okay, I've read someone said about ulnar nerve impingement. Now I understand the point that the ulnar nerve kind of runs down the side here, okay, and that when you have a pummel and the bottom hand is being pushed down maybe a little bit by the top hand into the pummel, that you can get some nerve impingement. What I will tell you is I've been training mace for a while and fairly heavy mace. I've never had any problem with my ulnar nerve. I'm sure Rick has, I don't know how many millions of reps you've done, Rick, but I'm sure you can probably attest 2 million. No ulnar nerve problems. What I will tell you is based on the physiology, and I teach this stuff because I teach both sections of anatomy, the musculoskeletal in Anatomy 1. And it's very, very difficult to impinge those nerves. Again, a couple things have to happen. You have to have massive weight that's pushing for a period of time to compress the nerve, which we don't stay stable in those movements. We're moving. So you're not sitting there with. Number two, a 50-pound mace is a very heavy mace. It's not massive weight when it comes to talking about impinging nerves at all. Okay. And then the third thing is there's no impact. So you don't have a massive weight, and by massive weight I mean weight that can impinge it. You're not staying in a place that weight's going to be pushing to impinge it, and there's no impact to impinge that nerve. So again, the chances of ulnar nerve damage, now I'm not going to say it can't happen, only because I never say it can't, but it's incredibly unlikely. Now, if you're doing good technique, which is why when you guys take seminars like this and you go out and you coach, the individual that you're going to train, you have good technique now. You'll teach good technique now. And again, with bad technique, you can hurt yourself with a 5-pound weight. Like, listen, you got to do good technique. I don't care if you're doing powerlifting, kettlebell, sport. It doesn't matter what it is. You need good technique. So with good technique, I don't think you have to worry about that. So I like the pommel. I'm a big fan of it. I don't think you have to worry about those things. If you like it, without the pommel, that's great. Just make sure you have some kind of knurling or something. Use a little bit of chalk so it doesn't slip, especially when you get sweaty. And that's kind of what I wanted to present to you guys. Do you have any questions on anything?
I'm glad you touched on that pommel thing because I had a question about that too.
Yeah. You have a question? That question?
No, that's what I wanted to know. Right there.
Okay. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions,